Hello, Hygge page, and hello, Hygge Tribe. Today I got with me my good buddy Adam Denney. First of all, I guess my name's Jon Cyr. I recently told a story about bullying on this Hygge Tribe page, and I actually was joined by one of the people that they were a victim of my bullying when I was younger. And today now I have my good buddy Adam Denney on here. Adam was quite inspired by hearing the story, and he decided to join the Hygge Tribe as well. And Adam would like to tell his story for you folks today. So he asked me if I would mind sitting in with him while he tells his story. And I'm one of Adam's good buddies, so I'm definitely there for him anytime I can be. So Adam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your story is?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, John. My story is actually a pretty unique story, actually. Um, growing up, being in a wheelchair, I didn't really have that many friends, and as a kid, when you're young, like 5 and 6 years old, it's really hard. It's really hard for, I guess, someone to relate to you when you're in a wheelchair or comprehend why you're in a wheelchair because you're 5 and 6 years old. I guess your mental capacity is very minimal at that point in life, and it was hard. It was hard for me growing up because I didn't have many friends, and the ones I did have growing up in elementary, they stuck by my side, and really, having a disability has really brought a lot of dark days out on me, and like there's days and weeks I just don't want to do anything. I just want to sit in my room, play video games or whatever. I just don't want to face the world because of the darkness of having a disability or whatever you want to call it. And I find now I'm finding it sometimes hard to cope with it at my age of 30 years of age, and like I find that the sports part of my life is really helping me cope with it because I I can't play stand up hockey. I always wanted to be in the NHL, be the next Gretzky, be the next whatever, right? But coaching and sharing my knowledge of the game with these young men I've had the privilege of coaching, and the acceptance that I have received from players that I've coached over the years. I currently coach at Millwood High School. I I do a lot of the motivational stuff with them, and just starting this year, I've worked with the defense a little bit, and I find when I'm in sport, it brings the best out of me, and it's something that takes me out of that dark place. I guess being in that dark place, as everybody knows, it picture this. It's like being in a cave with no entrance, with no exit. Sometimes,
When people are able to open up and talk about the way they feel, like you are doing right now, sometimes that helps bring a little bit of lightness too, as well, because you know that letting other people that live in a chair know that they're not alone and you understand what they're going through. And maybe somebody that's hearing this will actually be inspired to try to find ways to, bring light to their darkness as well.
I would say probably, and I would say to somebody, figure out what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was sports. For somebody, it might be painting or drawing or hanging out with their maybe grandkids or whatever. Always find the best in every situation.
Find that peace that gives
Find
you the
that
comfort, right?
yeah, find that peace that gives you the comfort and the confidence to be able to be satisfied with what you
T-
have.
Tell us a little bit about some of your accomplishments with the. You're an Olympian, Special Olympics. You actually won a few medals as well. Is that right?
Yeah,
So
actually the first time I actually won a race, um, there's this one guy that I was racing since I was 8 years old, and I couldn't beat him. I looked at my mom was there, my dad was there, and I looked at my mom, I looked at my opponent, I looked at my mom, and I said to her, I got this. I can feel it. I got it. So I ran with everything I had, and I looked beside me. He was gone. He was behind me, and I ran past my mom, and she tackled me from behind. It was pretty cool. She's like, "You beat him." I'm like, "Yes, finally."
from right from the time you were born, you had adversities you had to overcome, and you had to find who you were and ways that you could help people. And I know you've even, like, in some of your darkest days have helped many people get through some darker days as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I have had a friendship for must be like 7 years now or more, is it?
Since Donnie was in grade 10, so yeah, grade 9, so yeah,
Yeah.
and however long that was.
As far as disabilities go, myself, I'd been struggling with my weight, and you inspired me as well to do something and work hard to get past some of the challenges with my weight loss, and I'm down quite a few pounds, and also set a goal that I'd like to walk 18 holes of golf again. I did that when I was 25, and just the other day I was able to accomplish that, and partly because you inspire me, bud, and you push me to the next level. So thank you for all of your motivation and being there for me.
Oh, no problem, buddy. Thank you, because honestly, like, and that's just another thing about like our mental health. Like we have to find those people that will motivate us and and help us through the rough times, right? Like
Yeah.
I have you. I have Lyle. I have Gerard. I have Gerard in my corner now. So
And you know who else you have in the corner now? Right here, a Hygge Tribe. This sweater has a meaning, and anytime you see somebody wearing this logo, it's meant to be an awareness that I'm somebody that you can talk to. And if you have this Ahuga Tribe on, you can be open and know that it's okay to tell your story. It's okay to tell people, what's going on,
yeah,
and
so
and it's a brotherhood, and they'll help you get through whatever you need to get through. And so back to Adam Denney now, and like your life. I want you to. You've made some points there that you wanted to talk about. So tell us a bit more about what life was like, man, and how you've overcome.
And another thing too is like I've not only had a lot of mental health over my life, I've had a lot of physical health issues as well. Like I've had over 35 surgeries,
Jeez,
and
I didn't even know that.
like like with my kidneys, my back, my I had eye surgery. When you live with the, like a lot of physical health and mental health problems, it just topples up. It's just adding to the to what you have.
You got a
Like
lot of weight on your shoulders, is what you're saying,
exact.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's
And
exactly
you
what.
and you carry that with you everywhere. A lot of people take for granted some of the easy things that we get to do, and when you are faced with those things, it must really bother you mentally when I can't just do that. I have to put more thought into how I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing too, like when in my teenage years, I knew that being in a wheelchair kind of caused me, not kind of, it did cause me a lot of mental health issues, and when I think I was 13 or 14, um, my parents had got divorced, and that added a lot of fuel to the fire, let's just say. And
I can relate.
that was just, it wasn't easy at all.
No.
I always find ways to get through it, and you know my I guess what I'm trying to say, John, is my support network is amazing.
Well, to know you is to love you, and maybe more people just need to get to know you, Adam, and this is a good spot where you're gonna meet more friends, and you're gonna hear other people's stories that help you realize that you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there that struggle with darkness.
Yeah,
You mentioned that your parents split up when you were 14, 13, was it? Or
yeah, some
that's right around the exact age that my parents split up. And I'll tell you, it's not an easy thing to go through as a kid that age. You're not fully developed mentally. You're in the middle of a spot in your life where you're trying to figure out where you're going in life. What do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to do? And when you have all that other stress added on, I I personally had a lot of anger issues, and I did some terrible things to people, and bullied people, like I mentioned earlier, and I hurt people physically, uh, just with some of my anger. I didn't really understand how to release the anger properly, and I didn't understand what communication and telling your story can do to relieve some of the pressure that's inside. So unfortunately, I turned to violence in some ways, and really hurt people, and I regret that. And people that I've hurt know that I regret that. I mean, I got in a physical altercation with one guy when I was 14, and he and I to this day still talk. And because after I realized growing up why I had that much anger and why I lashed out at him at that time, it made me realize that I needed to explain to him that it wasn't the real Jon Cyr. It was whatever this demon was that was inside of me, and
yeah,
the anger that lashed out at him. So I apologized to him. I explained to him what went on in my life and where that anger came from, and it turned out that he had a lot of the same things happen to him growing up. So we came to a common ground, and to this day, um, he's a friend of mine now. So and it just shows you that telling somebody your story really puts you in an open format where people are willing to talk to you too, and
Mm.
and and reach a common ground. So I don't want to take away from your story, so keep continuing on, bud, and let us know a little bit more about Adam Denney.
It was hard to make friends when I first started school, and like, and there was a few kids that stuck by my side, and just took me in for who I was, right?
So
And go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, like, you say there was a few kids that were on your side and helped you through everything or were there beside you, but for those three kids, there must have been so many more that were the total opposite. And like, were there a lot of bullies back then as well?
I wouldn't say bullies. I would probably say they didn't have an understanding, I guess.
Right. So they were ignorant to the fact that what was really going on for you in your life, and maybe unintentional. They weren't old enough to realize what they were. You know, they weren't old enough to realize what situation you were in and
Mm.
how it was not something that you could control. So,
Exactly. Like I said before, too, John. Now it's just so awesome to see the acceptance from not just the sporting world, but just people in general that I've gotten. Look at the acceptance I received from the Blazers. Like I go down by the when we were calling the games. I go down by the Blazers locker room, and they'd all come out to me. Hey, Denney. Some of them be giving me a hug and stuff, and that just made me feel amazing. Like
it's hockey, and I can say that probably about many sports that when you realize what being a part of a team is all about, nobody gets left behind.
no,
Everybody's a part of that team, and you were a big part of the broadcasting team too. So, those guys appreciate the fact that you're out there calling their games and giving them the ability to go back and watch the games too, right? So it's, I mean, and that opened up one of your big dreams as you know, as a young boy. You wanted to be a broadcaster, right? And
I did, yeah.
so, I mean, how does it feel to be just scraping the surface? You're just scraping the surface right now. You know, COVID's kind of set everything back a bit, but this could open some big doors for you, bud. And I'm gonna be happy to watch you proceed with the broadcasting and podcasting thing you got going on.
I'll tell you one thing about that, John, is after our first broadcast last March, I went home to my mom and I said, never in my entire life did I think I would be doing that.
And it makes me proud to know that you're just jumping right in there, man, not hesitating, and you got to go after it. If it's your dream, you got to go after it. You can't sit back and hope it comes to you. You got to go get it.
Why hesitate? Why wait?
That's right. You're just going after it, bud, and that's what you got to continue to do. And you said it brings you to the light, and that's what you want to do. You want to come out of that dark place that you're talking about, the struggles. You got to focus on the positive vibes and just move forward. And that's what you're doing, Mud, and I'm proud of you for what you're doing.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
So, if there's a kid out there who's just starting the journey of life in a chair, or if there's somebody that, had an accident and got turned around and had to be in a chair for the rest of their life, what would Adam Denney tell them for advice on how to get through things? What would Adam Denney want them to know so they don't have to go through it and learn it on their own?
I would probably tell them that look for the positives. Look for the positives in your situation, because they always said for every negative there's always a positive. And look, always look at the positive side of a situation. Yeah, you might feel down on yourself. Don't try not to think about what you don't have. Think about what you have in life, because I have to practice what I preach, because I have that exact same problem as well. So I guess the moral of the story is, for people who are struggling in everyday life, people, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to ask a friend for help, whether it's your physical health, your mental health, or whatever. It's okay to ask for help. I've learned that the hard way. I really feel like mental health isn't talked about enough, whether it's in sport, in life, in the workplace. Mental health needs to be talked about. Open up the conversation, because you could save someone's life. You really could.
Well, Denney, I want to thank you for opening up and talking to us about your story and how it's affected your mental health. Hopefully, our conversation will reach somebody and help somebody along the way. And as you know, the Hygge Tribe is now a part of you. You'll have anybody that wears this clothes, if they're truly wearing it for what it represents, they're going to be open to hearing your story, helping you along the way. And I want you to know that, I'm always here for you and will always help you along the way, like I have been, and I'll continue to do. I got a lot of respect for you, Denney, and I just want to tell you I love you. You're like
Thanks.
a brother.
Thanks, man. Love you too.
It means a lot.
And you know what? Some people don't understand, like if it's your first time having, like, say, an anxiety attack, like, it's like, holy crap, I can't breathe. Like, what's wrong? Am I having a heart attack? No, you're not having a heart attack. It feels like it, yes, but it's called anxiety. It's your emotions just going a million miles an hour. Is what it is.
You have anxiety quite a bit, do you, bud?
Not as much as I used to, but yeah, I do. I do have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety, a lot of I have a lot of depression as well, and it's it's been tough. I just want to let everybody know that with this mental health problems, you're not alone. Open up to a friend, a family member, even even if you're a sports athlete like myself, open up to a coach, a teammate. Tell them how you feel, because you could save yourself. And like I said before, everyone, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to ask for help. I've done it, and I feel like I'm a better person because of it. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody and the tribe for let me in, and thanks to Kevin and Fran for allowing me to share my story. And it's been a rough journey, but like I had said to you earlier, John, and we're not in this alone. We can all get each other through this. It's talk about your mental health, because mental health is a very, very tough situation for all ages. It's rough for sure. So thanks again for inviting me to do this and allowing me to share my story with hopefully the rest of the world.